Welcome to the 10-Minute Book Guide. Today, we're diving into a novel that poses a question so sharp and unsettling, it's like stepping on a shard of glass in the sand.
Really think about that for a second. It's a question that cuts right to the heart of what it means to be an outsider, to be judged, and to have to build a life from all the broken pieces left behind.
This is the pulsing, powerful question at the center of Layla Motley's incredible novel, The Girls Who Grew Big. So let's step into their world.
Right away, the novel just drops us into Padua Beach, Florida, a place someone describes as the last stop on a trip to hell. It's here that we meet the girls, a group of teen mothers who have been completely cast out by their town. But what's so brilliant is that we don't just get one side of the story. No, we hear from three unforgettable narrators, each with her own unique way of looking at survival.
First, you meet Simone. She's the fierce, protective center of the group. Her voice is so poetic, but also completely defiant, It's rooted in the harsh reality of Padua Beach. And you can tell from this quote, for her, the girls are not a mistake. Not at all. They're family, forged in the fires of public scorn.
And then you have Adela. She's the polished outsider, a competitive swimmer from Indianapolis who's been sent away by her parents to hide her pregnancy. Her perspective is all fear and judgment. She basically sees the girls the same way the town does. Her journey is this huge struggle, trying to bridge the gap between the person she was and the person she's being forced to become.
And finally, there's Emery. She's a local girl, born and raised on the Emerald Coast. She's the one who always dreamed about being a mother, but the reality of it has her questioning everything. For her, Adela's arrival is this strange, fateful event, a treasure that just complicates all of her loyalties and her own very fragile identity.
So how does Motley manage to weave these very different lives into such a compelling story? Well, we're going to break down three unique ways this book achieves its incredible literary power.
The first insight is Motley's absolute mastery of the polyphonic narrative, which is just a fancy way of saying she tells the story through multiple distinct voices. This slide shows it perfectly. On the left, Adela's fear makes the girls seem almost feral, a physical threat. But on the right, Simone's perspective is almost mythic, totally defiant. She sees their origins as something elemental, born from the ocean and the town's poison. It's through these colliding viewpoints that Motley builds a world that feels layered, contested, and just achingly real.
Okay, let's move on to our second insight. The setting itself is a character. This quote from Adela, the swimmer who's only ever known the clean, controlled world of a pool, illustrates this perfectly. The ocean isn't just water. It's this vast, powerful force that mirrors her own feelings of being powerless and just how overwhelming her pregnancy is.
Padua Beach really is a living entity in this novel. It's a wasteland where girls get sent to be forgotten, but it's also the sanctuary where they find freedom together in the back of a red truck. The ocean reflects their internal storms, and the land itself is full of dangers like snakes and alligators. But it also offers healing, like the herbal remedies one of the grandmothers makes. The setting isn't just where the story happens, it is actively shaping these characters' fates.
And that brings us to our third, and maybe most potent insight, the novel's relentless, unflinching examination of choice, all within the brutal landscape of a woman's body and her future.
On one hand, you've got Simone. When she gets pregnant for a second time, her resolve is absolute. For her, this isn't some moral debate. It's a visceral, practical decision about survival, about preserving the life she's fighting so hard to build. Her language is just so raw, honest, and fiercely determined.
Now contrast that with Adela. She expresses that same desperate wish for control, but her plea is just immediately shut down. And right here, Motley makes such a crucial point. Choice isn't an abstract concept. It's a privilege, one that's dictated by money, by family, by circumstance. For Adela, there is no agency. Her body is not her own.
So, what does all of this add up to? Beyond the beautiful writing and the compelling characters, why is this a book that seems to resonate so deeply right now?
Well, this book is for anyone who loves literary fiction that is both beautiful and brutal. If you are drawn to unflinching stories about womanhood, found family, and the fight for bodily autonomy, then this is an absolute must-read. It gives such a powerful voice to a community that's so often stereotyped or just silenced. But be aware, this is not a light, plot-driven story. It's emotionally intense, and it deals with very gritty subject matter, so that might be challenging for some readers.
Ultimately, The Girls Who Grew Big leaves you with a feeling that's both heartbreaking and, at the same time, profoundly hopeful. It's a story about the failures of society, yes, but it's also about the incredible power of community.
In the end, the novel argues that it's not really about shame. It's about something sacred, that unbreakable bond these young women form. They find their strength not in spite of their circumstances, but because of them. In a world that casts them out, they build their own world, one centered on love, loyalty, and the shared sacred experience of motherhood.
Your weekly shortcut to deciding what to read next.